The last month and a bit, people in the creator space on the left have been constantly at each other's throats. And there's a few things I think we can say that are just absolute truths. First off, don't misgender people. And if you do, apologize. Second of all, listen to people when they're hurt. Third, don't dogpile on people. But fourth, don't double down, triple down, quadruple down, and then hide from your mistakes. I got a few more. Don't leak people's DMs. And definitely don't then display those DMs and not tell the full story. Don't drag in other people who are not part of the issue. Learn when to cut people slack and also learn when to let people go. The block button is there for a reason. We can also unfollow people. It is simultaneously ableist to tell somebody that their autism does not affect their worldview, but it is also not okay for people to use their autism as a defense mechanism. And to circle back around to the beginning, if you need to explain what happened to you, what form of bullying and harassment happened to you, you don't need to use the specific words, especially if you are actually not a member of that specific community. There's a reason that we have euphemisms like saying the N-word instead of saying what the actual N-word is. Just like how we can say the F-slur, we know what that means. But also, there are going to be a lot of people who point out that the left eats itself. I point this out too. We don't then prove that the left doesn't eat itself by then attacking those people for saying that specific thing. We talk a lot about bringing people in, calling them in, but a lot of the language that is used in those types of conversations is not calling people in. And there's lots of brigading, and I guarantee you that people on both sides of this debate are going to attack me over this, because there's no winning here, and I guarantee you that this is going to upset some people. But fundamentally, each and every one of us has to pick and choose which battles we want to take on, what things we want to admit to, and what things we want to stand on our convictions for. You know what I don't appreciate? When people tell me that my lived experience doesn't matter. But that also means that I can't then ignore somebody else's lived experiences. You see how we can accept both sides of these conversations and understand that all of us who are in the progressive space ultimately want better lives and better living experiences for everybody around us? And gatekeeping who is and isn't a progressive or a leftist or a center-left, centrist, whatever definitions you want to give people. Stop putting all that and saying who is and isn't part of the club isn't helpful. Because on the right, they don't care. And that doesn't mean that we should be lowering our standards. If somebody is going to be harmful and say a slur, we should call that out. And if somebody uses a slur, that person should own up to it. But we don't make the situation better by dogpiling. We don't make the situation better by constantly causing a stir. And this is the last that I'm going to talk about this, because I'm not getting involved in other people's stuff any further than I have to be, especially when I'm still, getting over some stuff, working through some things. I have a phone call next week with a professor to talk about the concept of radical empathy. I'm hoping that they agree to an interview and that I can bring that to you guys as content, because I think that we could all benefit from understanding what that is and how we can implement it within the left first. And then we can implement it on a society-wide scale so we can bring in more allies instead of pushing people away, instead of making people feel confused, and instead of hurting people. And that is a general statement regarding towards everybody, not towards any one specific group or any side of any argument.